Hello, I'm Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the penultimate episode of Series 17. I can't believe it's gone this quick, but it always does every season. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. The prize task this time was the best spherical thing, which I think is quite a generic category. I'm surprised they still have any generic categories to use, but this one's quite simple. Best spherical thing. You can go quite simple with it or you can go very creative and adventurous with it. Steve obviously went very creative with it, wanting to bring in the moon, which obviously he couldn't, so bringing in a paper mache version of the moon, which is already very impressive. It's already a lot of effort to go for the prize task, which he always does. It's always the highlight of the prize tasks, I think Steve's are, because they're just incredible. He always puts so much effort into it. This was made additionally great by the fact that he put somebody mooning on the moon. Great pun. He used lots of puns throughout his telling of this prize, and again it made additionally funny when it was revealed that it was actually Alex that we were seeing on there, and then the picture created by Sam Campbell at the end was just weird and amazing. And yes, lots of puns, lots of twists and additions to this prize, bringing in something already quite good with a paper mache version of the moon to then bringing in just something hilarious, and he really went all out, and I absolutely love that about Steve's attempts in the prize tasks. Sophie brought in a mystic ball, or a number 8 ball, I can't remember exactly what they're called, but yeah, she brought that in, which I think is quite a classic prize task. It's an interesting enough prize, but it's not got much creativity or inventiveness around it. But I did think the way that she tried to foretell Greg's future was quite good. The way that she kind of keeps doing these personal attacks to Greg, just really funny. And it's amazing that Greg is getting these attacks rather than Alex, because normally all of the insults go Alex's way. And I like it that Sophie is just holding no bounds and she's just going straight for insulting Greg. John's prize I thought was incredible. I wasn't really sure where he was going with it at first, talking about being a childless man, I don't know why he started with that. The Malteser thing, I thought it was incredible how he managed to make a massive Malteser. That is a prize that anybody would like, and yeah, I think it was made especially great for Greg during the fact that he really loves them. I mean, they're hard not to love, but yeah, I thought this one was really good. A lot of effort to gone into this, and yeah, I loved it. I thought it was so good. Nick brought in some bath pearls, which I'd never really heard of before, so I don't really have too strong of an opinion about them. Obviously, Joanne really seemed to like it. But yeah, the bath pearls, again, I don't think they're that particularly good prize. And I thought he was going to sell it, when he was talking about that really personal, lovely story, and then it just kind of stopped. It was just yeah, that room just smelled like bath pearls. But I feel like he could have argued it a bit more. I don't think it really would have helped his case, though. So just creating that funny story was just really good. And I thought it was an entertaining segment for the prize task. But yeah, the actual prize, not that good. Joanne's one, though, I do think she was perhaps, I don't know, she wasn't underscored because John's and Steve's were just incredible. But I actually quite liked the globe bar thing. I thought it was quite good. Again, it's a more creative, simple prize to bring in. I think Sophie and Nick's prize were just not that impressive, whereas if someone gave me a globe bar, I'd be quite happy with that. So I definitely get why she gets 3 points because of just how impressive John's and Steve's were, but I do think it wasn't as bad as Greg was making it out to be. The first task in this episode was to create a tradition to celebrate Assistance Day. This I thought was quite a fun one. Again, lots of creativity allowed for the contestants, and I liked that it was a task more geared towards being nice to Alex, which everybody did go for that. I thought somebody might kind of twist it and use it as a way to celebrate how you use your assistants and make them do terrible things. Some people could have gone a more harsh route to Alex, but I like that everybody was nice to him. It was quite a nice dynamic that we don't really see it too much. There's always one contestant that is harsh to him, and there were definitely elements of that with Joanne's attempt where at the end of all the celebration she wanted him to go get her lunch, but yeah, this one was quite good. I liked that we started off with Steve breaking the table. That was really fun, and throwback to season 16 with Butch, and I thought it was just all very good. And I would love to have that calendar. I would love to look through it and see all the different things. That's again something they should put in their online shop. I'd love something like that. We started off with Sophie and Steve being put together, and both of them went for a dance song thing. I particularly liked Steve's like roly-poly. I thought that was quite good, trying to hold the water up, but like both him and Alex failing miserably. Sophie's was short, to the point. It was fun. I think it was quite a catchy song, but there wasn't too much there. I thought it was good, but it wasn't like as good as everybody else's. I think this was I think everybody did a really good job on this one. I loved the way that they threw all the paper at the end and then both of them had to go pick it up. It was quite a funny way to end their attempt. I think what made Steve's quite a bit better than Sophie's was because not only did he do a little song and dance, they added that thing with the roly-poly, the glass of water. There were just a few more things added to it that perhaps elevated it a bit more. Joanne's one was really funny. I like this because it's something like kind of twisting the roles where it's like, you relax, you say no, you don't have to do any assisting, I'm the one pulling you around. I just like that whole like role reversal. I thought it was quite good. I especially loved him like shouting no at Greg, like the statue of Greg. I thought it was all very funny. But there was still that kind of humiliation aspect of being the assistant. Like, she didn't completely take that away, and I think that really worked in her favour. I think calling the cast like a pram, kind of like infantilising Alex, and then at the end making him go get her lunch, it didn't completely like ruin that master-assistant dynamic, but it just kind of subverted it a little bit, but kept the bits that make it funny, and I thought it was really, really good. I was really impressed with John's one as well. The paper suit was incredible. I didn't quite understand why he made a paper suit, but I get his argument in the studio, but when I was watching the task, I didn't really know what he was doing or why he was doing it, but you cannot deny that the paper suit was impressive. Like, it was so good. I don't know how he did it. It was really, really, really good. 3 points, I guess I kind of agree with. I think it didn't really celebrate Alex or assistance in any way, but it was just a really cool thing that he did. I don't really see how it falls into kind of like the tradition-y aspect. Like, I think everybody else's was something that either you do to celebrate or is like a part of the day, whereas creating like the paper suit, it doesn't really fit into the same kind of category as like a celebration as all the others. And of course we have Nick. Just absolutely amazing. He is so good at like the musical tasks, which I'm not too surprised by because he does use that kind of like in his comedy. This was so good. The song was really, really good. It was like a beautiful song, and I like that it touched on like assistants in general and Alex specifically as well. I thought, yeah, the song was good. I like that he was like out in the garden. I don't know why. I thought that was quite nice. And I think linking it to kind of like the Christmassy songs and stuff that you do there, it was really good because it really strengthened the fact that this is a celebration song. You sing it on the day, you sing it like in the lead up to the day. And yeah, just amazing. Definitely worth 5 points. The next task was the bleep test one, which I thought was so good. As soon as like they were talking about the bleep test, I was like, this is a perfect test to have in Taskmaster. Bleep test was like we did in school as well. Horrible thing, but yeah, I think it really, really works with Taskmaster because it is that like grueling exercise, and they've made it a bit fun and a bit more difficult with having to do little tasks as well. So they had to peg the sock, bin the sock, and then don the sock in between all of the bleeps, and this is quite good. I like the way the whole task started with them being like having to swear loads and it being all bleeped out. There are lots of little ways that you could make it a bit easier, which I wasn't expecting. Like, I thought obviously bringing the bin closer, that was a classic way to go. The addition of having the keys being hidden and the bin being chained up was very good because it did force them to kind of panic once they realised they couldn't move the bin and they had to go to like plan B or try and find the key. That was a great addition to it. And I did like the way other contestants like challenged different aspects of the task, which I'll get into a bit. John nailed it as usual. Like, what else would we expect at this point? Just absolutely amazing. I thought he had a really good system. He, like I said, immediately went to move the bin. Obviously couldn't, but I just absolutely loved the way that he was carrying the socks or the pegs, whatever it was, and didn't realise that he was holding the key that entire time and could have made it easier for himself a lot sooner. Nick as well had a really good attempt. Like, I think pairing him with John was quite good because they had very similar ideas. I liked the way, after realising he couldn't move the bin, tried to put the washing line on the other side. It's a much bigger task to do, to move the whole washing line. But I like the idea, just get everything over to one side and you don't have to keep running back and forth. He did find the key as well, but unfortunately got bleeped out before he could actually do anything with that. This was because he left the pegs on the other side, which if he hadn't have done that, I feel like he would have gone on a lot longer, because that was him just getting set up for it to be like convenient rather than keep running back and forth. But I absolutely love the attitude that Nick comes into all these tasks with. He's always so positive and so fun. I absolutely love that. I think it's so nice. On a side note as well, the like out of body experience he had in the studio was absolutely hilarious. It really caught me off guard, and obviously caught him off guard as well, but it was just so funny. Like, I was in bits. It was so good. Joanne, this is one where we had another like a clever way to work around the task, just pegging the socks. They didn't say it had to be pegged to the line. I thought that was a genius move, like such a smart idea. And she also tried to don the socks onto the cow's ear, which I thought was a good idea, like, you know, because it stops it being on her so she can still like move and she doesn't have to put it on a hand or whatever. But I'm surprised they didn't try to disqualify her for like them falling off, because some of them kind of popped off immediately. It seemed, they might have not actually, but in the edit it seemed like she'd put it on and then it'd pop off immediately, which I would have thought there would be some sort of debate around that, but there wasn't for her favour. I was really surprised that she didn't win, because I thought her pegging the socks like she did was such a smart move and like made her be able to move like quite quickly throughout all the different things. Sophie as well had a good technique with the binning approach. I thought this was quite good, throwing over her shoulder. There was a debate around that, but I think I do agree it's a different interpretation of it, and I think it's just as good as Joanne's one, or I just thought it worked. Like, at first I was about like, ooh, that might be a bit risky, but I think they argued it well, and I think, yeah, very valid attempt. Unfortunately, she did only get middling points, but yeah, it was just because she kind of like fumbled with the pegs and stuff, which is you know, that happens. But again, like I said, I thought she had a good approach. I'm not 100% sure about putting the sock on the head though. That, I don't know, I guess it does kind of work, but I think, I don't know, I wasn't 100% sure about that one. Steve's attempt made me stressed out though. I had absolutely no idea what he was doing, where his mind was at. Like, the way that he just very nonchalantly like moved away, like moved across the field and like was messing around with the bin. Like, I thought he wasn't going to put it in time. Like, it just really stressed me out. And the swearing at the end was very funny, and he just didn't seem to have a clue what he was doing. Like, in the end he said, oh, I just heard like you had to make as many bleeps, and then, but it didn't seem, I think that was just something I think he realised once he realised he messed up. Like, he just decided to get those bleeps in, because at the start he just did not seem to know what he was doing whatsoever. But that was really funny, and I think considering he came last place, you know, counting the beeps wasn't really that big of a debate. But I'm not 100% sure where I'd land on it if like it did have an impact, like say if he came first, like, because yes, he had more beeps, but like he didn't do what you were supposed to do in between each beep, if that makes sense. So yeah, like it didn't matter, obviously, but I thought it would have been quite interesting to see what would have happened if he actually like did way more beeps than everybody else. The final proper task in this episode was to create a face on the back of your head without only using masks, which I think was a rookie error in wording in this task. But first of all, I have to acknowledge the fact that they edited Nick out with all the mirrors. Like, oh my gosh, so impressive. The editors have done an incredible job with this little running joke with Nick. So good. I absolutely love it. I was quite amazed as well at the start by how long it took people to realise that they were supposed to use the mirror to read the task, especially Sophie. Like, it just seemed very obvious that you were supposed to use the mirror. I also love the little addition Alex had with the one and now thing where he got it the other way around, because it was like the mirrored version of it, so it was a mirrored thing in the mirror. Just quite funny. I like that little addition. There was also a bit of wording in the tasks that said they had to demonstrate it in action, which I think Nick definitely did. He was the one who demonstrated it, I think, the most. I thought the interactive parts are really impressive. The way he managed to get like the party popper to work. The monocle was quite good. The actual face itself wasn't too amazing because it was just like the skull, but I thought the additions to it were really good. I definitely think he should have got more points than Sophie though, because Sophie's wasn't really a face, it was just like a like a pair of eyes. Like, she created a very good character, I think, and it was very funny, but I think the actual face aspect, Nick did a much better job, especially with those interactive things. But yeah, I did love Sophie's character, Leslie, and the song, and just the whole, yeah, like I said, the whole character of it was really, really funny. Steve's one was probably my favourite. I thought it was so impressive how he managed to make all those, like, it looked almost real. Like, if you were like looking at it from afar, it looked really good. I liked the boxing, like the way he was using his arms. It just looked like this really odd character, and I really enjoyed it. I thought he was very inventive with the face. Like, it was just really impressive. Like the cauliflower ears, all the things he added to it. So good, and I think was definitely the most inventive, and I thought was like a really good character. Like, he really built on it. The boxing, as I said, was very funny. Like, the way his arms moved and the way he was kind of challenging Alex. It's very interactive, and I think he did a really good job demonstrating it. And also the addition that the elastic bands, like, made marks in his face so bad that he had to delay filming. Just very, very funny. With Joanne's one, I think I disagree with Greg on this one. Like, I understand where he was going from it, because the wording did say you cannot use only masks, but she used primarily masks. I liked the, like they said, the duality of it, the way that she was kind of talking with the face, the way she was interacting with it. That was very good. But I definitely think Nick should have got one more than her, because they both used more mask or like the skull, but I think Nick's had better interactive elements than Joanne's did. Because I'm not saying Joanne should have got disqualified, but I'm saying that perhaps Greg should have awarded the points to the more creative one, rather than like just a mask with a hair, but a good story to it, if that makes sense. With John's one, I wasn't surprised when it was revealed. I thought it was very, very good. I thought, you know, the painting was good. I thought it was a great way to kind of get around that, like painting his hair, like painting a face rather than like building a face on the back of his head. But I do think Steve should have got the 5 points over John, because Steve was just so inventive and so creative, and just created a really cool face out of just a random assortment of things, whereas John's was just paint. Very impressive paint. And I think what I liked about Steve's was that he created a character, whereas John just kind of recreated a real person. Like, it was good. I thought it was like accurate and whatever, but I just really liked Steve's one. I thought it was really, really good. And also with John's one, it's like there was no like interactive element to it, which wasn't a necessary like part of the task, but to me it was something that did just elevate other people's attempts, because all he did was just kind of stand there and just repeat some famous lines of like the performance that he was recreating. Like, it was good, you knew exactly who it was, but I don't know, I just thought Steve's one was so good. Now on to the studio task. This was quite a fun studio task. I really enjoyed this one. This is something that you could like play at home, like if you had like a coffee table or something, like bouncing the ball on there or something. This was really good. I thought it was really difficult as well. Like, the first one, pretty easy, and I think perhaps gave some people some false hope. Apart from Nick, who I think failed at the first one, and lost his mistake there. And I do think adding that, like, you could have one error was a good idea, because sometimes, like, it would have been a very difficult one to just go in with, like, no idea of, like, how bouncy the balls are going to be and things like that. But yeah, doing the 2 bounces, and particularly the 3 bounces, was really, really tough, and would be something that I think, you know, you'd have to have quite a few attempts at it to get it right. But anyway, as I said, the task I thought was very good, quite fun. There was a little bit of like tension there as well. And yeah, I thought it was impressive that Nick managed to get to where he did, even though he like failed on the first one. But yeah, Joanne won at this task, but John wins the episode again. Just so impressive at this point. Like, he's won so many episodes, it's crazy. But I'm not too surprised. Like, he does have a real like competitive energy when it comes to the tasks, and he's just very good at them as well. But yeah, once again, this was a really, really strong episode. I enjoyed all the tasks in this one, and I liked that there was some more like debates around the scoring, because I feel like in that aspect, and as I mentioned, the kind of arguing for points aspect, there hasn't really been too much of that. And yeah, there was no arguing in this again either, which I'm not too mad about, but I like that You know, Greg was always kind of almost having arguments with the audience because he knew how we would react or that we'd have disagreements with him, and I kind of like that. I think it's quite fun. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, it really helps the channel, and comment down below your thoughts on this episode, and subscribe if you want to see more videos too of Taskmaster. I'll have some out for you soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!